this time the music and the voice volume are still pretty good. If not, feel free to just tell me in chat. Music too loud. So let's do this audio output. What about now? Oh, it's way louder. Okay, now it should be good. Kind of. I hope. What about now? Now it should be pretty on point, I guess. I hope. If not, I can tune it down a little bit more. Too loud. God damn it. What about now? This playlist is very loud for whatever reason. I guess this time manageable. God damn it. You know what? So I'm at 50% volume on Windows. What about now? I am at -21. So it should be basically as low as I can get without messing up the rest of the OS volume. God damn it. Okay, what about now? As long as the music is not too loud, I guess we should be pretty chill. Because the playlist is, I guess it's just very loud. Because I'm at 5% volume on YouTube, on the player. I'm at 44 for the system volume. So other than that, I'm not really sure what I can do. So if it's good now, I guess we can finally start for real. Yeah, let's say it's good this time. Yeah. All right. So, stream plan. So first, some updates on the board's situation and the projects that I have live. So let me find the Notion document. I don't think I have a link right now, so I'll just grab the web page link. There we go. Okay. So, there we go. So it's in dark mode. So what do we have here? The Menhir EC is, at least on my part, completed. The PCBs are in order from Fruit, so that project is pretty much completed. God damn it, it's been like 5 seconds. Get the fuck out of here. With the boss shit. Anyway, Menhir EC is completed. Then we have the debated EC and MX. James received the PCBs today, I think. So he's gonna do some testing, and that's pretty much done. For Type K, I have the PCB on hand, and actually I can show it. There we go. Yeah, I'm not that skilled. I stream literally once a month. If it's a good month, so I can just delete them and move on. So this is the Type K PCB prototype. I actually have two PCBs. They come the same way as the MX version, so they are a single PCB, and then you basically snap them in the middle, and the way you're gonna connect it is through a flat cable that hooks into the two sides, and it's gonna share the same functionality as the MX version. So you have the LEDs indicator here and LEDs on the side, so here and here, and you'll also have the light bars on the top side. Firmware is basically done. I tested it. It works. It has all the new features like calibration and rapid trigger, APC, all of that. So we are just waiting to see how things go, because I'm not really sure how Gok or Kevin decides to actually run it, like the EC kit. Most likely it will have, so the PCB for sure, the plates, because those are different from MX, obviously. They're gonna come also, I think, with custom wires, 3U wires, because we decided to use discrete stabilizers instead of 2U housings for the 3U, because on some GMK sets and other sets that have both 2U and 3U, if you were to use the 2U, it would basically cause some issues with interferences, and with this you can avoid it. So it makes the user's life way easier. And also what we had to change was the dimensions of the rubber inserts for the actual mounting, because the thickness of the EC assembly is different from MX. So using the MX inserts would have caused the PCB and components to hit on the actual PC case, and we don't want that. Let's let's see. Can't wait for Type K. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive, but it's gonna be good. If you want quality, you have to pay sometimes. Hello, we thought. Indeed, we thought. I'm a fan of Dance Scale CPAS. Yeah, they are well priced. They have a lot of options, and I particularly like the stabilizer, so the spacebar kit. It's probably one of the best options, not only because the wires that they come with are custom, so they're not straight as normal EC, but they have grooves that allow basically more compatibility and also allow a higher degree of freedom when designing a keyboard. But of course, if you design with those parts in mind alone, then you might preclude the option to use OEM parts. So it's a balance act, but it's nice to have the option, you know. And also the wires are super straight. Once you loop them, they are actually very good. Bye-bye, Genpod. So yeah, this is Type K. So going back, Type K PCB is completed, firmware is completed. We had to run a second prototype, but the changes are actually like non-existent. The only thing that I changed is the actual part for the LEDs on the top side, because the menu that did the prototypes did some oopsie. So the LEDs on this PCB, for example, they don't work because they are flipped, but on the spare PCB that I have, they work just fine. So there's that. So yeah, second proto, we basically had to run second proto anyway, so that once we have confirmation of the rubber inserts, we can build a board and then basically give the green light for the project. So this is Type K. For Lilium, it was basically ready for a while, actually some months, at least to the PCB. Compared to the prototype that I have on hand, the final unit will have a wider split section, so the distance between the two clusters is gonna be more than the one in the pictures that I sent out. So that is actually a better thing in my opinion and in Gok's opinion, because the layout was a little bit too cramped, and by simply adding some millimeters of distancing while keeping the same angle of rotation, the typing experience is way more relaxed. The firmware is basically the same. I've added just a couple of nice things that I can actually show. 1 second. So this is the prototype PCB. And what we did was add some stuff in the middle for the actual case. You'll still have a top side accessible reset button for reset and DFU entry mode. And you'll still have the 3 indicator LEDs. Those are actually quite interesting, because what I decided to do was actually to have the RGB effects change the behavior of the LEDs. So what I mean by that is we set up the first LED as caps lock indicator, and then the other 2 as layer indicators. And the way I set it up is so that you basically see the layer as a binary code. So if you're on the first layer, like base layer, the LEDs are turned off. If you go on layer 1, then the right one lights up. If you go on layer 2, the middle one lights up and the other is turned off. And then if you go on the third layer, I mean the fourth, if you count from the base as one, both are lit up. And instead of just using boring LEDs to do that, what I decided to instead do was to actually have RGB effects that you can customize and choose from. So if we go in VIA, and we open the design tab, you'll see that in the lighting section I have indicators, and for now I have solid colors for the layers. So if I turn on, let's say, layer 1, the first LED turns on. And if I go on layer 2, the other one lights up. Okay? And if I want to turn on caps lock, the white LED turns on. I can change the color based on whatever color I choose from, and I can do the same in static mode for the layer indicator. So if I go green, now the indicator is green. But there's also a nice thing that, let's say you don't want the actual functions. Thank you, Howdax989, for the follow. If you don't want the functions of the LEDs and you just want some RGB effects, you can turn off individually and they'll basically behave as whatever effect you have. So if I put them back as red, what I can do is I can change the color and put it in cycle, and the LEDs will actually cycle. And as soon as I enable the function, those LEDs will go back and behave as layer indicators or caps lock. And a good thing is also that for the layer indicators, even if you have the function active, they'll still follow whatever RGB effect you have. So if I turn off the effect on the caps lock by enabling the caps lock function, and if I do this, you'll see that the LED changes color because I have this effect chosen. So if I do breathing, you'll see that the LED is breathing. So this is a quite interesting thing that I added to the Lilium code. And something similar, it's not really the same thing, so some behaviors will change. It's available on the Type K PCB and also on the upcoming EC980C PCB. But so the RGB is going to be used for the indicators. Okay, we can close up VIA. then we have 2 more completed projects, as in the PCB is done and we have prototypes coming or ordered. The Dolphin 60EC, I have the prototypes with me. The Dolly's EC, that is in testing too. Type B is in production, as Paul mentioned in the stream that he did yesterday, I think. And EC980C, we're still waiting for the actual keyboard to order the PCB, basically. The HHKB studio is in the works. I have higher priorities as of now, so that is not the main project for now. Alright. So, today we have 2 more Sho HG. These are from the unfortunate event of not receiving the stainless steel. So, backstory, I ordered the full mirror stainless steel version, and due to manufacturer being sussy, Sho had to cancel that, and he offered some options. An upgrade to a full brass HG, 2 alu versions HG, an HG and a XRF, I think it was, or a refund. The brass, I'm not really a fan of the brass. I don't need an XRS, and I don't even know where to put it. The refund would have been cocked with exchange rates, so HG it is. So I received actually 2 units. One full alu sandblast, and the other is alu sandblast, the back piece and the bottom piece, and the top piece is brushed. So this appears to be the brushed version. So what I'm actually gonna do is show off Bogu's board. That way I can actually put it away, so I avoid any scratches and all of that. Yeah, so he basically offered those options. I'm not really sure what he meant really with 2 alu boards, because he told me after he packed it that one was a brushed top and the other one was a full sandblast. So I'm not really sure if he like simply split up whatever leftovers he had, or if you could actually request something. But at that point, like it was way more than I would have expected, especially in this situation. Originally, I ordered the full mirror one, so like Veracity Steel vibes. So here we actually have an extra piece because Bogus opted for a mirror, an additional mirror back piece to go with his board. So I'll just briefly show off the content, and it's basically the same as the other one. So we have the usual fits, the additional bits for the different heights, for the angle, black screws for the plate, metal screws are for plate connection to the top case, and a couple of them are for the daughterboard. And here there's the alu back piece, the sandblasted one, but we will take a look at it on my unit so we don't unwrap it. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just saw like yesterday or the day before that he sent some pictures of some kind of mirror finish HGs, so I don't really know what's up with that. I'm just happy that it is all here before Christmas, so that's already a Christmas miracle, you know? Yeah, it's confusing, but at least, I gotta say, at least, he offered options, even though he's really deep in financial issues with the manufacturer. Because he basically said that he needs to basically sue them because they're keeping the money that he paid ransom, basically, because they don't want to redo them. I'm still quiet. God fucking damn it. One says that I'm quiet and the other one says that I'm too loud. You gotta sit down, Bogus and Jason, and decide which one it is. It's the same. I'm picking at minus 30 dB on the voice, and the music is picking at 46 dB. So I can turn down the attenuation on my voice. There we go. I'm at now minus 4 dB for the voice. So I hope the voice is good and the music is not all the way covered. Much better now? God damn it. I gotta change this shit. That's the real issue. So I already swapped the back piece on both units. So he went with the sandblasted stainless steel, alu silver piece. Hello? There we go. I already checked it when it arrived. Spot on, no major issues. The mirror piece has some scuffing here and there. It's very minor though. The major one that we noticed is here. You can kind of see it. And also on camera, the finish seems more rough than it actually is. It's very polished. So this is the unit that he will get. Looks very good. The finish almost looks like the Norvauer one. Like the color is pretty much there. Can we have focus? There we go. Yeah, Aerospace Vibes. I keep forgetting the name. There we go. It's very fingerprint magnet though. Yeah, I'm actually salty that I didn't get one, because it's actually pretty interesting. There we go. So this will go straight back into the plastic. take a look at the brushed top one. Okay, I finally got the board. And I actually think I did an oopsie. I don't think that I have a PCB for it. So that's interesting. We'll figure something out. It's quite funny that the PCB guy doesn't actually have PCBs around, you know. Hey, I'm not in China. If I was in China, I would have PCBs all over the place. I would probably poop PCBs daily. You know? We will figure something out. Actually, I don't need a visa. I mean, to work I cannot do, and even like for conventions and all of that. If I plan to go with the intent of like, you know, meeting with business partners and all of that, I technically need a visa. But for tourism, I can go without a visa as of January, I think. So like right now. Okay. There we go. So this is the bottom alu sandblast with the back piece alu sandblast, and this is the same that it came with for the other board, but the difference is that the top piece here is brushed. It's brushed instead of sandblast. So this is the same as my special edition red HG. This one is spot on too, so pretty happy about it. I'm actually debating, because I have 45 gram domes OEM HHKB, and some special stuff. And by special stuff, I mean BKE domes. Like real BKEs, not cope BKEs that I already pre-opened. And I want to use this just to try. And I'm kind of interested in seeing if I want to run it with the default angle or with the additional angle for the fits. So I'll probably leave it up to chat to decide on that. If we want to do standard angle or raised. For now, we will prepare. Yeah, it will definitely change the sound profile. I don't know by how much, but it will definitely change it. So, first thing that we can do though is prepare the plate. That costs nothing. So this is the top, so we rotate it, and this is the bottom. We have proper gaskets today. Nothing like sussy recycled and cut away parts as the other time, thanks to Bogus. That basically sent all the parts for the build. Because I didn't want to actually order them. One thing that I will change though is for the spacebar stabilizer. Sorry, for the spacebar key housing and the stabilized keys, I'm gonna be using the purple slider and housing from a R2 Real Force, and the silence, like the proper silenced housings for the 2U. The other parts are normal black and non-Type S housings and sliders, and we're gonna be using 0.5 rings just to mute them a little bit. Yeah, pre-compression all the way. So I have some stock rings, 0.5. I don't know if they are enough, but I have quite a bit of them, you know. And also 0.7, 0.7, 0.7 again. Sho rings, those are sussy as fuck. I don't want to use them. So yeah. We'll try to run with this. Yeah, I got like a bazillion of rings. Yeah, that's a lot. Oh, god damn it, right, those are single ones. Fuck. I hate this already. Anyway. Yeah, single sucks Gorilla Balls, man. It's kind of like the one you domes. Which, to be honest, they could be interesting if the tolerances for the base of the dome were a little bit more on point. Because if you trim down the sides just a little bit, like less than 1 mm summed up between the left and the right side, they could be actually better in some cases. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest, yeah. Strips is probably the best form factor. I don't really like the sheet. Probably the only sheet that I would actually consider good is like the alphas one. So like HHKB style, where only this and this are a single piece, or like a piece that is split up. The strips are kind of the perfect middle ground, because in case you use non-silenced sliders, like I usually do, I don't mind the pre-compression, and in some cases they are actually quite good. Like my FC660, it's very tight, and by tight I mean that there's basically no jiggle room and nothing on the entire build. But the issue is that because you don't have that extra 0.5 millimeter or whatever it is of travel for the slider basically sits higher than the resting position that it usually is supposed to be. And what happens is that basically the little raised sections in the housing don't stay flat with the dome sheet, so the dome sheet can actually shift, so there's no locking as it normally you would have, because again the sliders are raised, you know. So with the full sheet, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass with 4 1x4 strips, but it's easier because you can tune them. So there's the option. But with a full sheet, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to actually do it. Calibrated my first EC60 PCB. Happy to hear that. We had a lot of issues initially. I mean, initially the project was like super not intended to actually be this good. And by be this good, I mean that people actually liked it so much that I had to look into vendors. I could have probably ran like a small online shop myself, but since I like making and selling PCBs directly, as for the first round and second round, is not my main job. My main job is actually designing the PCBs and doing like audits on projects and stuff. That wasn't really feasible. But then the project actually evolved. Then vendors and like designers were interested in making EC PCBs, so I basically needed to think about the average user, so not one that actually knows like C and compilation of firmwares and etc. Where do I get those gaskets? So I don't even remember what is the name. I think it's Housings gaskets. You can buy them on Deskies, or I think like Taobao. I bet they have like something similar. Probably Jason is a more useful resource for like the modding bits because I usually don't use them. Like I started to use them simply because I received one a while back, and they were interesting. And also, I don't even plan to reopen these boards anytime soon. Oh yeah, the one that I used in the other board, the other HG, they came with the Neverest. I remember that because it's the only time I actually had like Deski's official stuff, apart from the sliders alone. You know what? I think we will end up stealing a PCB from a Pro 2 that I have around. Because I have PCBs around, but not hub controllers. And the ones that I have here are actually supposed to be shipped to, I think Tech? Yeah, Tech and Dej. The extra 5 units that we ran. So it's not correct for me to take out units from them, of course. I'll probably end up ordering like 5 just for me. Actually, Bogus, if you want me to ship PCBs too, I can order them like right after stream, and once I receive them, I can ship them with the board if you want. So it's gonna be Pro X and the hub controller. I just thought about it in case you need it. I'm not sure when they'll get here. I've seen today that the production for the PCB, like the FR4, they upgraded it to only 24 hours compared to the usual 2 to 3 days. Assembly, I don't know how much it's gonna take, like in terms of time. And usually FedEx, when they ship it pretty quick. Yeah, I'll check right after stream done. I think I'll need to do the math on customs. This time though, customs is gonna be on point because I have a history of the same exact order, so that is gonna be fixed. Yeah, and for the VAT thing that I talked to you about, I think what happened is they did the math not only with the weight, not only with the value, but also the weight of the package, and that's why they inspected it, because in the on the box there's like a pouch, and they had in it like a totally different pro forma invoice for the VAT. So I guess they actually calculated it on the fly after the inspection, and that's why we got kind of cucked. I mean, it's still less than wink wink, you know, if we didn't do stuff, but still. This playlist is actually pretty nice. I always save the link of the playlist right after stream, and as always I lose it. So whatever songs you're gonna listening today, they're never coming back. Unless you're watching the VOD. We need to do math. Yeah, I can send you stuff later. Cause like the shipping fee, so like FedEx from JLC to me, that is fixed. There's no after charge or anything like that because they do their math correctly on that. The only thing that we need to pay later, and as always, FedEx, they're fucking losers, and they always ask me for money on delivery, even though I asked them to not do that because I sued them 2 times and I fucked them 2 times. That is gonna be asked later, but I can give an estimate based on the previous shippings. If you want, what we can do is instead of doing the math, and maybe I need to ask you like an extra $5 or whatever, is I can ask you directly like your portion of the order and the shipping, because that is fixed. And after, when I receive the mail from FedEx with the document saying how much I need to pay in VAT, I can send you a message. Like I can send you the attachment. It's gonna be in Italian, but at the end of the day, where the euro sign is, that is the total, you know. Yeah, I don't mess around simply because they are so fucking boring, man. They're so boring. I always say to them, buddy, don't send me a cash on delivery stuff. Make me pay online. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. After 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes, I receive a message with a handwritten document saying, oh, we received your request. We will process it. Leave it 10 minutes there, and you receive an email saying, hey, this is how much you need to pay. And oh, by the way, you need to pay in cash. And I'm like, sons of bitch. Do plate gaskets work the same, right? As in, if the like single 1U work the same way as the 4x1, or I don't know, other plate gaskets, to be honest. Sipa, what do you think of Leopold EC keyboards compared to Real Force? I mean, there's not really much of a choice. Oh, Norby gaskets. Wait. I mean, there's no plate gasket here. So if you're referring to, for example, the HG, that it has like the very slim profile gasket for the plate, there's no such thing here. You can kind of make it though. So what we can do is use the squares, cut them off so that they align with the mountings here, and we can screw it in. Admittedly, it wouldn't actually do much, simply because the material is so thin that it wouldn't actually dampen anything. So what I would do is use 2 layers and stick the PTFE side on each other so that soft and soft faces are outside. That way I'm sure that nothing is moving around and sliding. we can try it. I don't really see the point in this case. Um, Show boards, I've noticed that they're actually quite quite sus from a sound profile in a good way. So the S60, for example, the original S60 was probably one of the simplest design that I've ever seen, and it was actually one of the first metal cases that I got aftermarket. And the way it worked was the back plate was literally just a piece of metal, like a flat piece of metal. The plate was mounted the same way as this one, so directly on the top side. The walls weren't too thick, and there was a lot of empty space. But after I did my usual sassy 0.7 rings with non-type S sliders, it was deep as fuck. It actually surprised me like a lot. Normal 45 gram domes, nothing like super deep or like 55 gram, whatever. Was very impressive, I gotta say. So again, Leopold, Real Force, I mean, they're different in the sense that, so for Leopold there's really not that much option. The layout is a big factor in my opinion. Like, if you want some very interesting layouts, you basically have only the option of using Leopold. Because Real Force, you're kind of limited to whatever Real Force you get. I would say though that for TKL size or like fixed board that you don't bring around, so like TKL sized, FC 980 sized, kind of like that, the Real Force R2 ANSI, the PFU limited edition, so basically what it means is that it has APC and it's silenced. It's probably the best stock experience that you can get from Topper brand new now. And I say that because the loop job on the stabilizers and the spacebar, even without the dampening spacers, is simply one of the best. You can of course still hear some sounds and all of that, but it's hands down the best one that I used. There's no other way around it. Yeah. We're gonna be using the plate gaskets too, and also the 2U. I cleaned them as these parts are actually from the Real Force. So yeah, I'd say that the R2 is the best. I don't want to do anything and it works. If you want some weird layouts, you basically just have the option of Leopold, to be honest. Want to build a custom keyboard with EC60? Do I wait for the vendors in EU? I just order directly from JLC. So if you only need like a couple of units, I think I have some units around. They're not purple, they're green. They're actually still from the first round. Those were my personal piggyback units. So if you're interested, I can ship them directly from Europe, since I'm in Italy. Vendors, most likely, at least for the first round, they will host HHKB replacements and Real Force R1 TKL PCBs. Simply because, of course, being a new round for them, they want to be pretty conservative with numbers, and I totally understand it, especially because it's kind of a in-stock approach for them, even though we order based on how many units there was an interest for in the server, you know. No, there's not a group buy currently running, and also like when the vendors will have them available, it will only be a hey, they're available, you can buy them now, and if they get out of stock, we're gonna make them. We're gonna make more, you know. So if you so 1 unit to add. Audax, if you need a unit, 2 units for sure. I have those. I bet I can find more of them buried in boxes. So if you guys wanna DM me, I can then remember to look around. I can't guarantee shipping before Christmas though, because I have to close the previous round first. If I don't reply right away, maybe it's because they go through the message requests and all of that. So I'll see the ping and get back to you. Okay, so we're gonna be doing rings now. Yeah, I think I'll flash those with the latest firmware, so like the sideload one. So you'll have to upload the JSON file to VIA. It's not really like that big of a deal. It's just so that the boards are already flashed with the firmware that supports like calibration and all of that. The only thing that you guys need to do is upload the JSON file so that you can access the features. For the round, I still shipped out the boards with the original like VIA merge the firmware. So for those, you'll basically have to reflash them in case you want the features. I figured that shipping them out with the auto detection would have been better than having to basically tell everyone, hey, this is the situation. If you want to reflash, you can reflash. If you don't want to reflash, whatever. Because then I already knew that people would ask me to reflash all the boards, and to be honest, I couldn't really do that. I have other work to do, unfortunately. When is the vendor gonna get them? I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea because the NA vendor, we talked on call this week, and we actually agreed on unit counts for the first batch, and I already sent them the files to get the quotes from their manufacturer. The Southeast Asian one had issues with their banking with PayPal, even though they are very trusted, they're known, so it's literally PayPal doing PayPal shit. But they sent me their info, like their company info, so I told them that as soon as they give a feedback that the banking situation is good to go and they have sorted out all the issues, they can send me a message and we can start to place orders. For Europe, I'm actually, I mean, it was public, so for that I can say it. So the idea was to run it with FK, the same that is handling Andreas keycaps. Who's running NA? We don't have actually things signed, but I mean they're trusted, so they're Canon keys. I know personally James, Alchemist Keyboards, and he works now. Actually, it's been working there for quite some time. And then I also know Opus for other projects. So we got on a call, and I basically told them, hey, this is the situation. People are interested in the boards. Would you be interested in basically handling the stock, since you already have the capacity, you know? Also, because the like Opus, I was in contact with Opus prior to this for other projects, but also because Type B from Paul, CK is a vendor for it, so he basically already knew me for the EC stuff from the Type B, so there was an interest there. Yeah, I'm very happy about the fact that I got the reception of the PCBs. Did this get an answer? What was it? Was running NA, CK, Canon keys. We are approaching the 2U and spacebar mark. Soon, TM? And yeah, I think I'll go in the living room and bring in the Charcoal Pro 2, and I'm gonna take the PCB from that. It's like, it's literally the only one that I have around that is not allocated. So if I check, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure all the, I have a couple of Real Force PCBs that needs to be located. But for the HHKB, the only ones that actually that are actually like available because someone cancelled are JIS. JIS was a complete disaster, man. I knew that the unit count was gonna be low because it's JIS. So I basically only did like 10 units because 7 people asked for it. But of course, with my luck, the two extra people for the other 5 units pulled out. So I basically have more units than I ever need. Was the Neverest gasket mounted? Not really. So the way the Neverest worked is the plate is integrated in the top case, You place the housings in the top case. So imagine here you have the walls. Then you place the dome and all of that. Then you rest the PCB and you screw it in. So the top case, here's the plate and top case all together. The gaskets that they included, that you would basically put here and here, yeah, kind of like HHKB, exactly. Those gaskets were purely to avoid ticking for the case. You could probably run the board without them, but having the gaskets there, it allows to like avoid metal-on-metal contact. Who knows if PC keyboards are any good with gasket mount? They're actually kind of good. It's not really gasket mount, it's hot dog mount. So it's a plate like this, resting on pieces of O-rings. So if you go and watch my Type B VOD, you'll see that there's an option for top mount or hot dog mount. If you want to see top mount, watch my VOD. If you want to see the actual build process of the hot dog mount, you can watch Paul Gali is the Twitch username. That's Ball, Baba Ball, because he built the Type B with the hot dog mount. Let me find him. Let me actually link it in chat. So how can I share copy? Gotta see if I can type in chat. How can I type in chat? God damn it. Stream manager? Yes. So if you go on Paul channel. Oh, unless the VOD is not up because it was listening to copyrighted music. I mean, you can see it anyway, I think. Do you want to selecting rings for the to use? No, I'll use slightly thicker silencing rings. These are, I think, 0.7. And why I do that, I have no idea. It just works. Any plans for a full size? Not really. Mainly because the people that actually want it are very low, and like I can't really justify the cost of prototypes. That's the main reason, to be honest. Like, I can design it, but what's the point? Like, I don't want to design stuff, at least from now on, I don't want to design stuff and then not run them. Or, like, I can do that, but, like, I design, like, stuff that I'm interested in and that I would like to run in the future. But I'm kind of over designing stuff just for the sake of designing it and then open sourcing them. because then China will do China. And again, the licensing argument is, it is what it is, but like recognition is, it's a pain in the ass, to be honest. And also I don't want another vendor that jumps into EC thinking they know what they're doing, and then they say to users, hey, it's part of the hobby to try out stuff, so don't ask us what our parts are compatible with. Wink wink. Any reference to people or events made in this stream is purely casual, and not referencing any real person. Right, Bogus? We are definitely not pointing to real people. Cough, cough. Don't worry about it. We're gonna make a more interesting, a more complex design. Because of course it makes sense that a simple and clean design doesn't sell, so you try to sell an even more complex and more costly design. Because that's an MBA major. That's an MBA major thing, you know. Are you going to the Harvard MBA? Oh, that's sick, man. You're gonna work for JP Morgan then. That kind of thing, you know. That's the big brain move. I mean, do we want to do the joke, Jason? Like, the project was RIP from the announcement. It was in peace from the announcement. Like, people were sketched up by the super sus difference in China versus international cost without even knowing who they were on Geekhack. And that says a lot. Like, now there are more people that know how to China, and if someone on Geekhack says it, you got a problem. And I'm not even comparing like MX to MX with Hyper 7 and etc. Like, there's just no way. They went all out in making a highly customizable board that is actually like a good idea, but the MOQ is simply insane for that level of mix and match of parts. Like, there's no way. People can barely make 200 boards, like, of one board, you know? If you start to have a base and then different back pieces and different tops, like, you're in for a logistics nightmare. And you can't really afford on EC to have stocks, or you'll end up with candy keys situations. Because of the hype, man. Why? Like, it's literally just because of the hype. I mentioned it in a like kind of a joke way to Bogus and others because they brought it up to me. But it's literally just hype, man. Like, let's be honest. It's because people want to have the boards and EC, like, I don't want to spend $300 on an HHKB because it's plastic, so I'm more inclined in spending $300 on a class whatever the number is because it's metal, and it's totally understandable. I actually think that this line of thought is actually what like new folks that want to make cases for EC or like EC compatible need to keep in mind. You might attract more people at the same price point as an HHKB, simply because metal costs more than plastic, therefore I perceive a higher value. And it's totally understandable. And I actually think it's a valid point. Show rules, I mean, it's in China. Like, there's also that, man. Like, the fact that it's in China, like, I can interface with China, and other people know how to interface with China. But the fact that he is in China, and he is like native Chinese, like that's simply how things are. If you're a native Chinese, you're gonna get the Chinese treatment. So you know how the market goes. You know, like, you're gonna get treated differently than some random guy that wants to have a commission made. But that's normal, you know? Like, nothing new. So for that, it's not really anything new for those that actually know how things go. Shows quality. Oh, I'm so back with. Show rules display. I just ran an HG. Yeah, that's a little bit too squished though, Jason. Like, you gotta admit that I said it when he was running the snipe. I thought that the snipe, like the original run, was way too close to the original S60 run, like timeline wise. Because when he jumped into the EC scene, the ones that actually like bought everything from him are like, it's us, you know, like the conical folks, and then some China guy. And I think that the move of making the snipe so close to the S60 was very dangerous for him, because everyone bought the S60, and if you're gonna run another board that is again another HHKB after 4 months, you basically saturated your buyer base, you know. It's very dangerous, because then you stagnate your own market, and that's very dangerous. You gotta keep in mind that people don't buy boards one after the other, even if the boards are new and long awaited, as in the EC scene. You know? I hate my S60 V2. I mean, the S60 V2 that I see around now, those are technically prototypes, so... Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't expect a working unit and all of that, but of course, like, I can probably actually expect a little bit more of a control, since again, being a prototype, the unit count is so low. But you also gotta keep in mind that they are prototypes, and as long as they work, the finish doesn't need to be perfect. And therefore, like, some defects you can't really like complain too much as if it was a delivery unit. One thing that you could actually like argue for, that it was kind of sus was, for example, my HG from like the first unit that I received. That unit was not looked by him, probably, because those were very evident issues. And by the way, he replied about my messages. I think that what happened there is that the first units were sent out, like shipped and packed by the menu itself for whatever reason. So he actually couldn't even check them. True, but the only change is making the connector. Probably I'm out of the loop. And again, I'm out of the loop because if it's not something that I will buy, I don't check the combos, to be honest. What are the issues that people are facing with the S6TV2? Like what is not in line with either expectations or like user taste? You guys need to enlighten me on that, because I'm not following the project actually. Gasket message. Which one? How thick are the gaskets? I'll actually, I'm not sure, but we can take a look at the product page. Jason sent the link for the product. So Desk Housing's gaskets from Desk's webpage. They say material number 5. So number 5, the same thickness as a number 5 ring. Have I tried pour on? So by pour on, you mean what? Gaskets in plate? Oh, the plate mount. Not really. Simply because I would need to design a case around it, to be honest. Yeah, I can definitely, when I tried it, the first of all is super muted, so I really like it. Apart from the sporadic weird stuff with tones that I mentioned. Thank you, MDMT Weech, I think it is, the pronunciation. Thank you for the follow. I can definitely tell that it is some sorts of gaskets, because the typing is muted in the way that it's not really the switch sound that is muted, but like the response of the case. I mean, it's metal, so sorry, it's plastic, so like the sound profile is different, but it's not boomy as the HHKB case, for example, that it's still plastic, you know. So I'm taking forever with these two housings, and I'm not really sure why. I think we are done with this. I'll prepare the cloth for the usual cleaning. So what I'll do is clean off from the top so that it doesn't cause like any weird sticking to the top case of the housing. I'll drop it in. I'll check the other one and do that too. And I'll drop in the silencing ring. There we go. So now what we'll do is, still with the cloth, clean up the face so that there's no lube sticking out, because that could cause weird sounds when hitting the PCB and also the dome sheet. Okay. We'll now coat the wire. And also add some here and here, basically where it clips in. Okay. There we go. Clip it in place. Move the lube so that it's actually properly applied. Clean off the surface, and this one is done. Okay. Do the dippity dip. There we go. here and here. Okay, so this one is done. We're gonna now loop the intervals of the spacebar stabilizer. Then we'll take the inserts and fill the hook okay. We insert it. There we go. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna clean again the surface. Even though on the spacebar for me it's not really critical because I use Band-Aid for the landing. I only use it on spacebars. And I don't even use like proper landing pads. What I use is literally like medical Band-Aid, the cloth one. So I should have the spacebar wire somewhere. There we go. So a big dip. And we will spread it. So now the excess that I have on the brush, I'll just spread it on the housing. I usually use the Band-Aid because it's inexpensive and it really just gives me kind of a protection net in case something is not really compressing properly, so there's some ticking. I can I'm basically sure that whatever is gonna happen, I have a backup in place that doesn't really take out travel or anything like that. This HG is filled. Yeah, I'm a wires only believer for lube. Not by choice. I'm like that because I only have 205 G2, and if I try to use this for anything that is not a wire, the board will not actuate at all. Also, I don't really mind the little bit of scratchiness that this slider has. So. Okay. the holes are not the bigger ones, so I need to go real quick and widen the holes. Oh, also, the PCBs from the vendors will have the holes like properly sized to accommodate whatever screw Sho decides to use. So give me like 5 minutes that I grab a hand drill and I widen the holes, and we can get back to actually building the board. So enjoy the chill vibes for some minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. So, I have the controller, I have the main board, I have the wire, and I need to check if it's the correct wiring, and it's not. So I'll swap this out now that I thought about it. Where do you need to put the band-aid when the stab is sticking? On the PCB, right where the wire lands. It's not really for the ticking of the spacebar actually. It's more for the hard sound of the slider in the stabilizer's housing hitting on the PCB, and it can be caused because maybe the actual spacebar is warped. So if it is like this, the sides hit before than the bottom out of the keycap, and so what it might cause is basically you have those two hitting the PCB before the actual end travel. Okay, so this is good. This one popped in, and this one popped in too. Yeah, banana bars, exactly. GMKB like. Am I right? We are miming way too much on GMK lately here. Okay. So we have now done with the lube. GMKB like, what is the tolerance to begin with? Okay, so we need for sure the screws for the plate. We need a screwdriver with the bits. Okay, I'm gonna grab the band-aid. And scissors. So, to do the alignment, first we take this out. Why the hell are all the songs now like Christmas themed? This is not what I want. Tavern music, not copyright. Yeah. There we go. We are now in a new world. And we're gonna roll with it. So the way I do it is based on the thickness and how the quality of the actual band-aid is. What I like to do, if we can pull focus, okay, we are now in focus. Yes, is based on the thickness and how the quality is. Stack up 2 layers directly under the center line of the stabilizer. So what I do is I take it, I cut it in the middle, and I measure it. You don't really need to cover all the housing, you just need the centerpiece. So after that, I take one band-aid and I place it on top of the other. Okay. Then we cut out any excess. And the excess is called simply because when you take it out, if the adhesive is very strong, it will warp, but it's not really a critical thing. Okay, now that we have our two layers, you center the spacebar with wherever the housing is, and then you place this, the band-aid. Actually, let me do it like this. There we go. You place the band-aid basically if it is centered on the horizontal line and in line with the housing, and you press it down. There we go. And we'll do the same for the other side too. So this is the thickness of the first one. Sorry, the size of the first one. We'll do this, overlap, do this, and this. Go. We are not gonna be lobing the PCB, even though in this case it might actually help, because the time I tried to use the BKE domes with, I think it was the HG, the Norbauer HG, the spring ping was, I mean, it's not really spring ping, it was like not even spring crunch. But the settle process of the spring was very, very noticeable. Okay. So now we raise the PCB. Sorry, the plate. And we start putting in domes. Is the auto version worth getting? So if the question is if it's worth getting the HG altogether, I'd say yes. Simply because like getting an HG is basically impossible. I tried and my credit card was not working and I got very mad. But it's definitely a very interesting housing. Of course, it's not for everyone, and the price is, it is what it is. At the end of the day, like, it's still quite a bit of machining and you pay for machine time, so nothing really can be done about it. A thing that I really like about the BKE is that the one you used in stabilized keys are super thick. Like they have way more material, and it's actually very good because it has the perfect shape to actually slot in perfectly into stabilize the 2U keys. Like the alignment is spot on. Yeah, I just roamed around in on YouTube, to be honest. And I can already see the issue that I mentioned earlier, where since there's the silencing ring, the dome doesn't actually rest at the correct height, and so they don't slot in place properly. So they're not leveled. You'll see that I can move them because they're not slotted in correctly. Like if they are slotted in, I can't move them. So keep that in mind. Also, because the BKE domes have the openings here and the thicker part here, what I prefer to do is put the thicker part where the actual legs of the slider are, because I feel like they give more secure dampening to the slider when it bottoms out. It's definitely different than the MX scene. First of all, because the parts are not really available, so like it's not like you can go and buy OEM parts. So for most of the scene, at least for now, harvesting was the way to go, because you couldn't actually buy parts. And even if you want like OEM stem, so to use OEM keycaps, you still have to either like buy them used from someone that harvested a board, or you need to get a board and then harvest it. So it's a bit more tedious, especially in the preparation phase compared to NX. and it's not for everyone. Like we gotta be honest and say that it's not for everyone. Okay, so we can now put in springs. I'm just dumping them in for now, and then we'll do the actual tuning. It's like I'm playing RuneScape with this music. I don't know why. So if you, original stance, if you are in the Conical Discord server, there are like months and months and even years of logs in the modification channel and others, where you can basically see all the discussions and also like ask questions in the help channel about like stuff that you need to build the board, and like the more you talk, the more people will actually like inherently help you by like asking the usual questions like what you're using right now, what you're like aspiring to feel with the Topre system, because that way people can actually like guide you a little bit on parts to pick from, especially if you're only planning to like get the HG or like any other showcases and just build it and see how it goes. That's probably a good idea. There's a silver spring in here. Sauce. That is definitely a silver spring. Sassy Baka. thing that you will definitely need with EC is patience. A lot of it. And be organized with the workspace. It's very easy to lose a spring and not being able to use the board. We are missing a spring. Yeah, I mean, with Topper, I feel like it's not the same as MX, where getting like the most average stuff, uh, like the the thing that I always try to do when I get into a hobby or like something that I aspire to get into is not trying to get the lowest bar possible of whatever item is required for that particular activity, simply because if I want to exit as soon as possible because I don't like it or whatever other reason might be, usually if you have the lower end stuff, it's gonna be pretty hard to sell it, because if you go on the aftermarket for that specific hobby, usually aftermarket is for people that are already in the hobby, so they know what you're doing and they're probably not aiming to get the baseline stuff. So if you get something that is mid to high range, yeah, you're gonna spend way more initially, but you can re-enter of the cost if you decide to exit more easily. You would probably not re-enter 100% of the cost, but the simple fact that there is a broader audience for whatever you're trying to sell makes it more safe in a way. With EC, it's kind of weird because we, as people that are really deep into EC, we go all the way from the most exotic stuff all the way to $20 or even free boards just to get springs because we need one, you know. So EC it's a weird beast. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm checking that all the domes are aligned. For the most part, at least, because again, not being locked in, it's kind of an issue. So I think we are pretty much spot on. At least as much as we can get it to be spot on. Okay. So now we're gonna be preparing the screws. There we go. Let's be sure that the boxes are in place. this screw is not actually biting. So let's throw it away. I don't think there's a screw hole here on the actual plate though. Yeah, exactly. So the only ones that I need are the one for the spacebar here and here. Okay, now that it's secured, I'll tilt it and screw it in properly for the final assembly. I'm not forcing the screw. As soon as I feel a certain resistance, I just stop. Okay, now I'll check that all the screw bits, like the tip of the screws, are leveled, and I'll check if there's any warping on the PCB. Okay. So now that this one is done, I'll check. Oh yeah, there are a bazillion of spares. Like way more than we actually need. But it's actually a good thing. Yeah, I'll go quickly wash my hands because I got some lube on them, and I'll be right back. And we are back. So I'll try to clean it just a little bit. Okay, now I'll test if the domes are aligned by basically filling the key presses. Can you believe it, guys? They are all properly aligned. Crazy. Okay, so now we'll clean up just a little bit, you know. We don't need this anymore. Bro, imagine. Domes properly aligned? Impossible. And I knew that you were gonna say pre-record this stream. I'm that good. I am that good. I knew you were gonna say that. So I anticipated it. I'm already in bed, man. You don't know it, but I'm already in bed. The message that I'm gonna send you as soon as I finish stream about the order for the units, that is a pre-recorded messages sent out with a timer. I'm built different, man. I told you. Okay, so this is done. I guess we can put the keycaps on. We will put the keycaps on, yes, because then we can actually flash the board. Because I actually need to flash the board. So let me actually. There we go. I need to use the keyboard to type, and I don't have a wireless one. EC series firmware. There we go. Side load. Pro X ANSI. Download. Let's find a Q and K. All apps. Okay, so quick live view of the screen for the flashing procedure. Come on, JST, you can do it. Does the board actually fit? Yeah, because I already used it. What? Wait. What do you mean? If it fits? Oh no, I already checked. 'Cause that's the thing. They go from having big ass openings to not having big ass openings. That really bothers me. Okay, we have a bootloader. Yeah, I mean, I don't have an Evision, so also no one is getting an Evision anymore. Got him. I'm sorry. That was there, man. That was there. Was calling me to make the joke. Yeah, Ripperoni. Fuck that guy, exactly. Okay, so the PCB loads in VIA, but as the other time, we're not gonna be testing it outside of the case. We're gonna build it. Because we are built different. We're gonna make it. It's gonna work. Don't worry about it. Trust me. Okay. So, caps. We got special gamer WASD. Because we are gamers, you know. Shift. Control. Where it belongs. Oh, I can't fucking remember the layout. 8. FN. 11. K and L. L and K. F. G, H, and then K. Quality U, I, O, P. Z. Oh no, wait. What? Oh, this goes here. So Alt Option here. UIOP O. There we go. 2Q 7Q 6 2 return. Oh, there's absolutely no ticking on the enter key. I'm so fucking hyped about this. Can you believe it, guys? Oh, the D is not used, right. The S is not used. Oh, this is wrong. A is not used. B. X, V, W is not used. Then we have the shift. What? They're not hitting the plate? Can you believe it, guys? It's a Christmas miracle. Unironically, it's actually a Christmas miracle. Like, what the fuck is going on? Oh. No taking on BKE. Okay, I can probably use the board as it is. You know, like this. And it would be fine. Yes, you are indeed very nice. Okay, case time. Finally. We have a case time. So, are we gonna be using the base angle, or are we gonna use the raised one? So that is still open for debate. The based one, so the normal one, like the one that is shipped with. I have no idea what is the actual measure of the standard angle, to be honest. Also, personally, I'm used to using so many different boards, like different angles and layouts, that I'm not really bound to a single one. Okay, we gotta be careful now. There we go. Oh, there's the China special send. I'm gonna move the pieces that I'm not using away. Where are the screw? There we go. So we'll actually put on the fades. So the way you change them is by opening up this. I can actually show it. Just one sec. You basically unscrew this one. Okay, there's a screw. You remove the cover, and then inside The red are spacers, these ones, that bring the height of where the fit actually starts the thread with the height of the opening here. Then there's a washer and a bolt, and it basically clamps together. So are we using the base or the raised one? I'm open for options. Or what we can do is we can move the spacers from the inside to the outside, so that we are in a in-between situation. Based? Okay, so we can go with the normal ones then. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna unscrew this and remove the China Special sand in the thread holes, because I never knew what the fuck they were doing with the machining, putting sand. Hello, we are bending yet another HG. It's all over my face, god damn it. There we go. So fit one, boop. Boop. We press it so that it adheres properly, and we can see the fabric underneath it. There we go. So the fits there are done. We can now search for the daughterboard screws. There we go. There's one. I'll try to align it, then screw it in just a little bit, and then do the other. And I'll screw them in so that they grab on the PCB just a little bit. But after that, I'll move the PCB so that the ports are centered. And you can see that the ports are pretty centered. So what I'll do then is, by keeping pressure, secure. There we go. We can test with the opening. It fits, pops up in the on the PC. So that is done. We are gonna be now doing the daughterboard cable. bend it and put it like this, just to prepare it. Now we grab the top piece, find the 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, the 8 screws, for the plate. So those are the first 4. One, 2, 3. Of course, I need one more. 4. There we go. So we go like this. Whoop, whoop. We then drop it in like this. Oof. Then screwdriver, align, tap just a little bit, then on the opposite side do the thing again. Go. We can now kind of check the alignment, but as I saw the other time, the alignment is pretty spot on, even though there's a little bit of play in the plate. So we can just screw it in all the way. Okay. So this one is secured. We're gonna take the bottom piece and see how the port aligns. So it needs to go with GST facing this way. So what we're gonna do is kind of like this. We're gonna try and match the position. and do the band again. There we go. And the reason why I'm doing the bands is so that when I close it, they fold where the battery would be. Okay, now I rotate it. I place the screws back. There we go. And we only need the bottom ones. And again, don't overdo them because I'm not really I don't really have a trust in the screws being used here, or the face actually. I don't trust the threads. Okay. So now we put back the alignment pins. We take the back piece. We put it back. And we screw it back in. And it's basically done. So we're gonna clean up just a little bit and actually put on the bottom feet. There we go. Squish, squish. Oh, these are different from the... Unless I'm tripping. Let me check. Oh no, I'm tripping. It is what it is. Okay, so actually cleanup time. now cleaning everything up, just to be sure that there is no Crytox on stuff. There we go. So one last clean to the actual board. And the board is done. I gotta say, very happy with it. Yes, we are back. I am very, very happy with the board. Let's see if I can tone down a little bit the highlights. So this is the front. I mean, it's the same as the special edition that I got. Okay, the back, seen as if you were looking at the back of the board, looks like this, and the bottom is sandblasted. As with the other units, I noticed that once you screw the two securing screws here, the back piece warps and it leaves a gap. So it is what it is, though. Okay. So now I'm gonna actually put it in my usual typing position and do the calibration. And I'll also move the dongle for my mouse to the back of the board. It fits very well, I gotta say. Okay, so this is, yeah, it fits. I got a ruler to be sure that it's in the same position as always. OCD kicks in. Needs to be at 23 centimeters from the edge of the desk mat. And we are there. Okay. We plug the board in. And we go in via. Okay. Via EC connect. So we're gonna change this to backspace and this to delete. We're gonna turn off the lighting. Okay. And just so we are sure, we're gonna also open the HID so that we see that things are actually going as we want. So bottoming calibration, okay. I'm gonna do one by one with this one. It's way more snappy and tactile than normal 45, and I want to be sure that I picked it up properly. Okay, and it actually worked because we have different numbers. So one thing that I will do is do this, yes, first floor, done. Nope. Key tester. Oh, it's so... There we go. There we go. It works. Nice. So the board works. That's a great success. We can actually, I'm gonna set up my usual rapid trigger stuff. Okay. Oh, it actuates even before the real actuation. I mean, rapid trigger on a very, very binary style key don't really make any sense. And actually, with the default values, as soon as I overcome the tactility of the dome, I start to have the key press. So I think I'll leave it to the default values. So what I wanted to see is if the values that I predetermined initially would work as the actuation points for these domes. Like when I would expect the key to be activated, and it actually works pretty well. So yeah, we have successfully built another HG. So now we have two of them. They're actually pretty good. This one is is more muted. Yeah, this is more muted. It's OEM 45, so it's more of a quiet board. This is very, very heavy. You have also that weirdest sound of plastic that the keycaps do. When you're not even pressing them, but that is probably the slider and the tolerances of the actual keys. But yeah, I'm very, very happy about this. The board actually turned out pretty good. Probably the mods can be a little bit less lubed, but to be honest, whatever. Okay, I didn't stream it. I tested like the quick dog test, so that like the usual one, you know. Bruh. Bruh. Yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah, it feels good. It's definitely one that I would use to actually like type text with. Yeah, I put a spring under the spacebar, but like the lighter one, not the heavy ones. It's like the same that comes with the HHKB, and it's actually pretty good because, again, there's this weird issue with some of the heavier springs where the actual radius of the spring doesn't match the radius of the housing, so it will basically sit and be crooked, and that's when you hear the metal sound crunch of the spring under the spacebar. And it's a thing that I actually fixed on the other one. Some of them, randomly, they decide to shrink themselves and not work at all, for whatever reason. But I'm pretty happy with the mods, actually. Like, even apart from the hollowness of the keycap itself, oh, I'm plugged in. Like, the only weird sounds that I can hear from any key is the actual key itself and the slider. Not the springs, not the domes being sussy. Also, bogus, the shift is not touching the plate. Even if I do this, it's not touching the plate. It's actually a first in 1 year. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, the spacebar is, oh my god, it's so good. It's probably the most consistent sounding bar that I've done lately. And it's weird because when I used the BKE domes on another board, the return was so heavy on the keycaps that I really didn't like the sound. I'm very happy with this. Yes, I'm gonna show off your boards now. Be right back. I gotta take them out. There we go. There we go. So actually, first, before we take a look at Bogus boards, I think I'm gonna do like a separate stream, maybe discussing something else one of these days. I wanna finally, actually, coaster. There we go. I wanna finally drink this little tiny sake cup in honor of the HG and Sho and his mad lad skills in making cases. I can finally say I didn't spend 5k for an HG, and I have 4 of them now. So there we go. I don't know if I can show the artwork on the cup. Kinda. There we go. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, kanpai. Ooh, that's good. Ooh. Okay. So first, we have the Apple sassy ass keyboard. Definitely how Steve Jobs wanted the keyboard to be. You know, JIS, of course. ANSI, what is that? You know? So this is the board that you were mentioning before being like gasketed or something like that. So it's actually variable. So I didn't open them. So I'm gonna do a test on what do I feel. So it's definitely variable weight. I gotta say, it's very muted. I like seeing the case and how light it is. You wouldn't say that it would sound this deep. The enter key and the spacebar is super deep. Yeah, they're super good. Like, what the fuck is going on? Okay. Even the caps lock. Caps lock is very heavy for some reason. It's more heavy than the shift. Like the shifts. This is even more tactile than this shift. These two feel the same. This one is definitely heavier. It's the same weighting as the backspace. And you can definitely see the difference. Like here I can do this. Here I'm pressing down the key basically. That is very nice. The difference is actually quite noticeable, I gotta say. I'm not sure if... Okay, so this is 1U. Yeah, it's 1.5. Yeah, because usually people don't even have those. We went right past the 1.5. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting board. You can't really feel bounce. You can't really feel the bounce of the gasket system, but the fact that there is the gasket makes it muted, even though the case is hollow as fuck. So I think that is actually an interesting idea for a case. It's the only way you can do plastic cases in a decent way, in my opinion. Any other mounting system would sound trash and feel trash. So gasket is the only way to do this. now there's another board. So it's classic. Actually, hard rubber, it's better in this case. Because I'm not sure you would have achieved the same level of decoupling from the hollowness of the case with a softer gasket. It's a little bit counterintuitive because you would expect that if it's softer, then it oscillates more. But it's a little bit of a weird science behind all of this. So after that, we have this beauty. So it's an HHKB Pro Classic. We can tell that it's a Pro Classic because of this and the little door. Also the sick as fuck fits. With a custom painting and Type S and very funny HHKB Professional 2 sticker, metal stickers. Very nice. That's very hot. The domes are actually very snappy.
Hello there.
Thank you TCWFD22 for the follow. The domes are not heavy. Like, they're definitely less binary in the tactility than BKE, but the tactility is way more pronounced than OEM domes. The good thing though, compared to BKE, I'd say that because they are not as aggressive on the tactility and therefore on the return characteristic, they actually play well with the plastic case construction. Because I don't really like when the loud sound and banging of the BKE pair with the classic, the plastic case. Like, it makes it sound super fragile in my opinion. But this is very good. I think they're lubed. Like, there was something going on with the little mods. Because either they were lubed or they were like treated in some way, or the weighting is slightly different. Because the weighting of the Q key and the tab delete is totally different. Like, the mods are different from the alphas. Apart from control, like, tab feels weird. Not lubed. Okay, then I gotta check. Let me do it in the middle so I don't ruin the. You know what it might be? The paint might have a different characteristic in terms of roughness. Yeah, there's definitely a difference in how the slider interacts with the opening. It's actually very, very good. It almost feels like actually lubed. Like, I can feel that it's not lubed, but it's way better than OEM stock, you know? It's actually a very interesting feel. So we're gonna open it just to see how it is. Bro, what is going on with the camera, man? Yeah, Fuji is freaking out. I think it's overheating. That's why. Okay. And this is one of the weirdest long where I need to do the trick. Where I only insert part of the tip. There we go. Okay. So let's open it. I'm gonna take away this as soon as possible, unplug it. Okay, so yeah, it's a classic, GG. And actually, now that we have the board, oh, there's a missing screws, buddy. There's a missing screw. Anyway. The Pro 3 daughterboard, the updated one for the vendors, it's not gonna be this big. It's gonna be actually like this big. So it's gonna be using only one screw, and it's gonna retain the alignment pin, so that we basically have a smaller board because all this space was wasted. You can see here that at the end of the day we will have basically this much daughterboard, so this side, with the JST coming out this way. That way, the goal is that we have the connector coming off of here, and you can use it on an OEM board or even an HG. For an HG, and by HG I mean Heavy Grail Norbauer, you'll have to cut away a small, like a very small section of the like the dampening mat, but it's a very minimal change. I mean, nothing really to see here. It's a classic controller. Interesting thing, the PCB for the classic is actually the same for the hybrid, and they simply do not populate the parts. Very interesting. Okay, I'm not really sure I want to take it apart because I don't want to ruin the alignment, but no, I'll probably do like thoughts of what I can feel. Okay. So Escape is definitely not OEM. It's not an OEM dome. Yeah, Escape is not OEM. That's for sure. Oh, the spacebar definitely has that weird spring sound. You can kind of hear it. One sec, that I mute the music. that weird sound that almost feels like hands, like warm, sorry, not warm, humid hands, like doing this. It's actually the spring that is trying to decompress. Yeah, escape is definitely not OEM. Spacebar is definitely not OEM. But apart from the spring, it's actually very good. Yeah, you gotta swap out that spring particularly. Because one side is actually good, the other one is not good. The alphas are pretty consistent. Okay, so we gotta do this sneak peek. Okay, escape is definitely not OEM. I knew it. All the rest seems to be OEM. As I called it, the spacebar is not OEM. You're using something that is very similar to OEM, and those are the Death Blues, like the rounded ones. Yeah, you know how I recognized it? Because in the Raita, I actually have blue domes. And okay, like, it's not the same construction, but the typing feel is the same. It's kind of the same as the tactility of OEM, but it's slightly more distinct. Like, it's more defined than the OEM. So that's how I spotted it. The spacebar is very well done. Yeah, it's very nice. Wait. Oh, the hole for the LED is coated too. That's interesting. Not that the light will actually seep through, but still. So we're trying to close this without ruining anything. We've done it. So did you bought it already coated, or you bought a classic and you had it coated from someone? You had it coated. Nice. Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember these pictures of the snipe, and then you sent another picture of this. Okay. I've been careful to follow the thread and not screw it all the way in. And that's also why I don't really want to take it apart. First, to not ruin the alignment, and second, because we know how things go. Yeah, this one is very interesting. I used it a couple of days. It's definitely interesting. It's a bit weird because not all of the keys feel the same, even though the domes are the same. Like OEM, OEM. Like for example, these two are the same dome by color, but this is slightly more tactile than this one. Like, it's weird. It's one of those things where it's not really important, but once you actually start to use it, yeah, but it's very different. Like, probably for normie, they're not gonna notice it. They're gonna probably notice the difference between alphas and like control. Control is very worn out. But this one is way more tactile than this one, for whatever reason. Spacefire is very good. The only thing is the spring, but apart from that, spot on. The shift binds a little bit. The control really binds. Like, on this side, not so much. On this side, definitely. Shift. On point. The enter is very tactile. Shift is less tactile than enter, but enter is very, very well done. Probably a like a middle finger return type for my liking. It's not a pinky return. Like, you can do it if you're decisive with it, but if you're like this, you might not hit it properly. So, just to be thorough, we're gonna clean the caps since we put our hands all over it. We're gonna do the same for the Apple board. This is surprisingly muted. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting some janky setup, but instead, I mean, it's still kind of janky, to be honest, in the way that, again, this Z key is sus as fuck for me. So I don't know if you can hear it. That sound is not the return. It's actually me pressing to bottom out and then releasing by this amount. This is the travel that I'm doing. And there's something going on with the dome. Because the A key doesn't do that. Q does it, but way less. Yeah, it's probably resetting because the thing with like lighter domes OEM is that the way they achieve it is not only through the shape but also through the thickness. And the way the thickness works with the OEM ones, it's super thin. And as soon as you move them just a little bit, they do weird sounds, man. And they start to like stick together. The shift is so good. Spacebar, like on everyday use, is very good. The return is muted, but if you hit it in certain spots, I think it's hitting the plate because I can hear, I can feel more vibrations. So that's definitely the gasketing moving stuff. But it's on the very edge. Like on the top right, you gotta be right on the corner. On the left side, all the left edge does it. From corner to corner, but normal key presses position. And also bottom left, but it's only on the corner. Oh yeah, it's way better. Like I only noticed it because I was doing fast typing and I accidentally didn't press this key, but I pressed the enter because I slipped, being lighter, and I hear the weird sound. So that's the only way I can actually recognize that. Yeah, it's a little bit light for my liking, but it's very good. Oh yeah, and I also flashed it with the new firmware, and I did the calibration. So yeah, I think this pretty much wraps up today's stream. I don't know when I'm gonna stream again, to be honest. I don't have anything coming. And also it's like near the holidays, so I'm not sure people are gonna actually ship anything. So I'll probably just stream if I feel like it at this point. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining today. As always, you'll find the VOD later on YouTube. And yeah, I'll see you around in Conical, on Discord, in any other servers. And hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening, whatever it is in your time zone. And see you next time. Bye!